Good morning, people of God, and Bwana Yesu asifiwe. We are grateful to God for this wonderful day, bright day, and week that He has given unto us. We want to bless Him. Pastor Njue, coming to us on number 60, number 60, and the title of our sermonette this morning is Advancing the Covenant. Advancing the Covenant, and we are reading from the book of Genesis chapter 26 from verse 26 to verse 35. Genesis 26 verse 26 to verse 35. The title is Advancing the Covenant, and we'll read. Meanwhile, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar, that is, to Isaac from Gerar, with Ahuzah, his personal advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his forces. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and sent me away?" They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you, so we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you that you will do us no harm, just as we did not molest you, but always treated you well and sent you away in peace. And now you are blessed by the Lord." Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning, the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they left him in peace. That day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug. They said, "We found water." He called the well Sheba, and to this day the name of the town has been Beersheba. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. We see a conversation and an encounter between Abimelech, his advisor Ahuzah, and his commander of forces Phicol go to visit Isaac. You remember yesterday we saw how they chased him away because he was very powerful. We saw how they contented the wells that he had redug that were made by Abraham. And we also saw that Isaac did not fight back. He just left and went away his way in peace. But now we see these three people following Isaac to where he had gone to Beersheba, and they are desiring that they enter into a covenant, into a treaty, into a sworn agreement with him, because they needed peace that he had, and they needed to ensure that they are safe. These were representative of the Philistine nation, right? And we know Philistines were very vicious. That's where Goliath had come from. And they actually mistreated a lot of God's people in their lifetime. But we see Isaac repeating exactly what his father did. If you read chapter 21 of Genesis from verse 22 to 34, it is like a cast and paste into chapter 26, verse 26 to verse 33. When you read those two scriptures, or verses or portions or division of the Bible, you will see exactly as Abimelech dealt with Abraham and went and saw him in Beersheba, and you see how they did an agreement because they had realized that God was with him and they wanted to be at peace with him, is the exact thing that is happening between Abimelech and Isaac. Is actually a cut and paste. It's a replay exactly of what had happened with Abraham. And that's a lesson to us that God is doing exactly as he did with Isaac, as he did with his father Abraham. God is reconfirming the continuity and the advancement of his dealings with Isaac. You remember, he repeated the same words to Isaac that he had said to his father, even in the beginning of this chapter 26. So you can see there is advancement of the covenant between God and Isaac, and also between Isaac and the people around him. So Abimelech, Ahuzzath, his personal advisor, Phicol, the commander of his forces, they visit Isaac and they say, we want to get into a treaty with you. What is the lesson there? That we do not discount people that we may not agree with today. You may need them tomorrow. As long as one has God, you will need them tomorrow, or they will need you tomorrow. So we need to be careful to treat everyone well, even when we disagree with them. They say you can disagree with a person, but you can disagree without being disagreeable. Being disagreeable is going away, bitter, is going away throwing dust, is going away painting the other person that you have disagreed with in bad light. That is being disagreeable. But when they sent Isaac away, even Abimelech said, we send you away in peace, right? And it's good. He sent your enemies away with peace or in peace. Do not go disagreeably with any individual, right? Do not be hostile to people. You will need them tomorrow, or they will need you tomorrow. They say, don't destroy the bridge, because you may find yourself wanting to go back to the other side of the river. So deal with humans kindly and never throw them away in a huff or in a heated emotion or in the spur of the moment. Make no decisions unless you are cool or calm, right? That is wisdom. That do not make your decisions in a huff. Do not disagree with people in a huff, in a heated emotion. Don't even make a decision when you are not yourself. Make decisions when you are yourself. In verse 28, we learn a lesson that they realized that God was with Isaac. And this was very important. People will realize that you are with God, and eventually they may want to have the God that you have. But if you had mistreated them, that might be very difficult. Remember, we are called to be a blessing. Abraham had been called to be a blessing. Isaac had been called to be a blessing. And they had to be a blessing even to these ungodly people. But when they approached them, they never kicked them away. They got into a treaty with them so that there would be peace. In the book of Romans chapter 12 and verse 17, it says, recompense not evil for evil, meaning that you don't repay evil for evil. If I've done you evil, do not do me evil. If you have done me evil, I do not repay you for evil. And these are covenant characteristics or features that we need to borrow from Abraham, that we need to borrow with Isaac. After all, we are the children of Abraham. If we have the faith of Abraham and we exude the characteristics that Abraham himself manifested, we must stop admiring the people of the world. Actually, they are supposed to admire us and come to us and get what they have. And get what? When they come to us, they will not just get the property or the things that we have or the blessings that we have. They will also get the God that we have. And that is all what Christianity is all about. They must see God in us. They must see Christ in us. They must come to us, even like the Queen of Sheba. He went to Solomon because Solomon had God. Each one of us has to grow and develop to where the God that lives in us and the God that we profess becomes an attraction to other people of the world, so that they may come and know Christ. Right? In the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 to 10, this scripture we have seen it severally. It says we are a royal priesthood. We are a holy nation. We are a peculiar people. That peculiarity, that speciality must be seen in each one of us and should be a point of attraction. There is a man called Asaph who was one of the music directors of David. In Psalm 73, he actually had admired the wicked. If you read Psalm 73 from the very beginning, you see how he admired the wicked because he thought that they were doing better than he was doing. He admired them. And verse 12 and verse 12 to 17, he admired them, but when he went to the house of God and learned about their end, he said it was better for him than they were, even if they had property and investments and different things. He knew their end was destruction, right? So folks and children of God, even if you don't have what other people have, you are still blessed of the Lord. And the peace that you have, people will come looking for it. The contentment that you have, people will come looking for it. In Philippians chapter, 4 and verse 11, Apostle Paul said, I have learned to be content with what I have. We have to learn contentment. You content yourself. Don't cast out your big eyes or small eyes out there and think that they are better than you are. You are better than they are, and you need to maintain that so that they can come to you. Do you know who Abimelech was? Do you know who Ahuzah was? Do you know who Vico was? Abimelech was a king, and Isaac was not a king. Ahuzah was the personal advisor of President or King Abimelech, and Isaac was not that. Vicar was the commander of the Philistine forces. Isaac was not that. Yet they went to him, wanting to do a treaty with him because he was advancing the kingdom agenda, and that was covenant of Abraham. Verse 29. So Abimelech and his people, they did not molest Isaac, but treated him well, and they sent him away in peace, they alleged, and that's why they were able to go back and access Isaac. So we don't molest people, we don't rough up people, we don't go in a disagreeable with people. If necessary, we send them away in peace, right? A wise person will tell you to go to hell, and you really look forward to reaching there. That's what they say, that a wise person will tell you to go to hell, and you actually look forward to reaching to that hell, because he has told you to go away or he has sent you away in peace and in wisdom. Verse 30, Isaac feeds them instead of sending them away hungry and empty. He never sent them hungry and empty. He provided food for them. They had had a feast. And in the book of Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 21 and 22. Proverbs 25 verse 21 and 22. It says, if your enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. This is what we need to do. We need to treat people courteously and kindly, even if they are enemy. Give them something to eat. Give them something to drink. Don't close up your bowels. Don't close up your hospitable spirit. For verse 22 says, for thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his hand, and the Lord shall reward you. Meaning that when we treat those that are our enemies nicely, God will come and reward you. And that is advancing the covenant of God. Right? Number 31. Number 31, the parties, after they had eaten the following morning, they swore, meaning that they came into an agreement, a peace treaty, or a peace pact with each other, right? And the servants of Isaac dug a well, and he called that well Sheba, right? And you remember that is the same spot that Abraham also sacrificed 7 animals, and there was a well, and they called it Beersheba. Sheba means 7 or oath, Sheba. So Beersheba comes from that, right? Verse 34, right? There is a sad heading here. We see the son of Isaac called Esau. He married from the Hittites, from the heathens. You remember Abraham refused Isaac to marry a heathen, and that is why he went to his home country and got Rebekah, who comforted Isaac. That's what the Bible says, 24 at the end. It says, and Isaac was comforted by Rebekah. But Esau married Judith and Basemath, and they were both the Hittites, and they were a grief. They were a problem to Isaac and Rebekah. That's very bad. Our wives are supposed to be a blessing to our parents. You know, your family is supposed to be a blessing and not a grief to your parents, right? So we see Esau marries, and those women, possibly they mistreated Isaac and Rebekah. We need to take care of our parents. Nobody should come and mistreat your parents. Nobody should mistreat your parents. Whether you are a wife or you are a husband, nobody should mistreat either parents. Parents are supposed to be honored. They are supposed to be respected. They are supposed to draw a blessing and support from us. So folks, this is what we have for today. May the Lord keep you and bless you. We will connect tomorrow. The Lord bless you. Maranatha. Blessed be the name of the Lord.